I built my business from scratch. 15 years of sweat, sleepless nights, and sacrifices turned a small roadside auto repair shop into a profitable chain with 3 branches and over 40 employees. My wife, Zara, was with me from the beginning. At least, I thought she was. I trusted her completely, made her the company's financial director, gave her access to every account, and never questioned a single expense. I had no idea she was slowly dismantling everything behind my back. It started small, a few thousand here, a strange transaction there. I brushed it off as accounting errors or business-related expenses she hadn't mentioned. But then, one of my suppliers called, confused about an unpaid invoice I had cleared weeks ago. That's when my suspicion began. I hired a forensic accountant quietly, without telling Zara. Within 2 weeks, I had answers, and they burned like acid. Over the past 6 months, more than $150,000 had been siphoned from my business accounts into a shell company under a fake name. That company traced back to one man, Imran, Zara's college friend, who she claimed she barely talked to anymore. I confronted her casually one night, pretending I knew nothing. "Hey, didn't you say Imran moved abroad?" I asked. She smiled, calm as ever, and said, "Yeah, he's in Dubai now." That was the moment I knew. She lied without hesitation. But instead of exploding, I played along. I acted clueless, loving, supportive, while secretly building my plan. I hired a private investigator who followed Zara for 2 weeks. The results were worse than I expected. She wasn't just having an affair with Imran. She was planning to steal my entire business. I had screenshots of their messages, recordings of their phone calls, and even video of them meeting at a motel on the edge of the city. They had everything plotted. Zara would sign over client lists, leak trade secrets, and transfer contracts to Imran's company. In exchange, she'd get a fresh start with him and a 40% stake in what would have been my stolen empire. Didn't confront her immediately. I waited, watched, and chose the day I would end it all. 2 nights later, Zara told me she was going to dinner with her friends. I kissed her forehead, told her to enjoy, and then followed her from a safe distance with Cameron, my best friend. Sure enough, she didn't go anywhere near her friends. She drove straight to that same cheap motel where Imran was waiting. I had already arranged my trap. Through a contact, I booked the room next door and had cameras installed earlier in the day. The plan was simple: catch them in the act, gather proof, and destroy everything they had built together. But I decided that just watching wasn't enough. I needed them to feel my presence. I waited until I heard the laughter through the thin walls, their voices muffled but clear enough. Then, at the perfect moment, I walked straight into their room. The shock on their faces was priceless. Zara froze, half-dressed, her eyes wide like she'd seen a ghost. Imran jumped up, stammering, "It's not what it looks like." I laughed. "Oh, it's exactly what it looks like. But don't worry, I'm not here to fight." I placed a folder on the bed and opened it. Inside were printed copies of their messages, emails, bank transfers, and motel receipts. Every single betrayal, in black and white. Zara tried to speak, her voice shaking. "Armin, please, let me explain." I cut her off. "Explain how you tried to ruin me? Explain why you're stealing my business to give it to him? Or explain how you've been mocking me behind my back while I was building the life you're trying to burn down?" She cried, reaching for my hand, but I stepped back. "Save it. You two have made your choice. Now live with it." That's when I dropped the final bomb. I turned to Imran and said, "You think you're smart, huh? You thought you could take what's mine?" I leaned closer and whispered, "Check your bank account." He frowned, confused, and pulled out his phone. Within seconds, his face turned pale. I had already frozen every transfer, locked every account, and terminated every client contract Zara had leaked. I had spent weeks preparing with my lawyer, redirecting assets, and securing my business. Legally, everything they touched was useless now. Imran exploded, shouting at Zara, accusing her of lying about how easy this would be. She panicked, begging him not to leave her. He stormed out,